So, on the previous video, we talked about how romanticism shaped love into an empty giving and taking, where we ignore our real needs and desires, and this vision could be in favor of an already constructed version of love that is made either by the media or our friends or family or books or music or whatever, etc., among others. But before getting further deeper into this, we first need to clarify in this context, when we talk about needs and when we talk about desires, what are we talking about? Where did this even come from? Simply put, desires are what we prefer to have. In this context, that could be like a bulky boyfriend or a thin one, or maybe we prefer redheads over blonde people. And needs are those thingies that, whether it is for our psychological or emotional or social circumstances, we have decided that we need in our lives. Now, we all have different needs, and this could possibly be an argument for people who support non-monogamous relationships, that no person can satisfy them all, but that's not the issue here. But I will be talking about needs and desire from the SSLD program, which is the Strategies and Skills Development Learning System, which was developed by this professor at Canada that I mentioned before, Eika Tatsangen, who is a psychotherapist and is also the founder of the Center for Learning and Change of Toronto's University. Now, he establishes many types of the necessities, but I'm going to focus on these three: psychological, physical, and social needs. He says that all of our needs are developed during childhood, depending on the kind of treatment that we got, and depending on the kind of treatment that we got while we were kids, we develop different kinds of needs, and we satisfy them in different ways. Now, to be more clear, psychological needs are related to feelings of feeling safe, of attachment and intimacy, and social needs are linked to status and to your identity and all of this stuff. So as you can see, there's not like we have to take care of a small amount of things. We actually have like a large amount of things that we have to take care of. And even when desire, it's something that you can very easily understand if it is not met, because we not always get what we want. Needs are a little bit more harder to satisfy, especially when we haven't done the process of getting to know ourselves. Now, the point here is that the more you know yourself, and therefore the more you know you want from a relationship, and the more you get those needs satisfied in a relationship, the more profound and deep this relationship can be. And that's why we should look into ourselves and get to know ourselves, and to think about, is my partner really satisfying my needs, and am I satisfying my partner needs? And this doesn't have anything to do with, like, oh, am I enough? Am I not enough for this person? But maybe, am I what this person needs? If this person needs a lot of affection and I am not an affectionate person, and that is going to affect them, should I stay in this relationship with them selfishly, knowing that I can satisfy something that is so important for them? Like, this is just an example, but you could apply it to anything. Another example could be, let's say, for example, sexual life is very important for you, and you want to go like wild in that, but your partner is not really into that, and they're not interested in learning, they're not open to it, and they've told you repeatedly, I don't like it, I like it simple, and that's how it's gonna be. Well, you can either end that relationship, or you have other options, like, going open and maybe get that need satisfied with someone else. I'm not saying that's the solution, like you just go and find someone else. That's something that you have to talk with the other person. If you have this need that they can satisfy, maybe discuss other options and see how you can get to satisfy those needs. The point here is to forget everything we think we know about love. We need to ask ourselves, which are my needs? What do I need? Do I like the script that I am attaching myself to? Do I really need chocolate, instant Valentine, or why do I gotta pay for dinner? Can't I propose to my partner too? So why is it important to go deep in relationships? Because relationships play a huge role in our lives. Relationships shape the way we see ourselves. Think about it. If we just follow whatever people are saying that relationships should be, we are letting a part of our identity in the hands of someone we don't even know. People who don't even have a say in who we are, and we are just following that just because it is trendy or because it's just what they say that is right. I think that what we need to do is to take full accountability of what our needs are, about what we really want, in order to achieve a more profound love, which is what this video is all about. We need to ask those hard questions and make ourselves uncomfortable. Start asking, why do we do the things we do, and why do we believe the things that we believe in, as weird it might seem in the beginning. And as Alan Bottom said, love is an ability, and I must add, we are the worst students. The idea that there's only one person in the world, which the one you can agree in all levels, the personality of this person is so idealized that the errors and mistakes inherent to human nature disappear. Love is like a lightning stroke, and it hits you first sight. Love is the most important thing in the world because everything else, especially material things, must be sacrificed. And most importantly, getting carried away by emotions is admirable, no matter how exaggerated and absurd the way of acting might seem to the other. This is what romanticism is all about. It's about making us feel special, unique, like you're the only one to your partner. And so like that, we spend our whole lives looking for that other half, for that soulmate, for that irreplaceable person who was taken away from us and surely must be dealing with their own fatigue existence without us. Well, I am sorry to break it down, and I'm very sorry to break it down to myself too, but that's not it. That's not true. No one's having a fatigue existence because you're not there, and even more when they haven't met you. Like, they might be having a terrible experience in this world, but that isn't because they haven't met you or they haven't met me. Now, and let's make this very clear, I'm not saying that once you come into this person's life, it won't mean anything to them. The contrary, you could bring like so much meaning to their life, but expecting to become the center of this person's life is unrealistic and selfish. Like, it will make your partner happier, but I mean, if they lose their job or if they lose their car or a friend or family, they're still going to be sad about it, no matter who they have by their side. And it's kind of selfish and maybe even childish to believe that just because someone has us by their side, then all of their problems are going to be solved. Imagine having that burden on yourself, like expecting to being able to love someone even when you're in the middle of poverty. It sounds like poverty is a bad thing, but it does reduces your life quality, so I'm talking from that perspective. So imagine having bad circumstances and expecting someone to be happy just because they are with you when you have so much problems. That doesn't seem fair to me. So with this elevation of romantic love, it has become something fashionable, a commonplace. Something we must do, something we feel obligated to do, and it might end up being that obligation the only reason why we choose a partner to spend the rest of our lives with. And like this, we don't only put a huge burden in ourselves trying to fix or trying to attend all of our partner needs, but we're also putting a huge burden on them. We are also hurting that person that we say we love so much by having unrealistic expectations from them, by expecting them to take care of you at every moment, and by making them responsible for yourself. Because once you get in a relationship, you're not a kid anymore. You can't expect your partner to act like a mom or like a dad and take care of you as if you're not capable of doing so. Because our partner can't possibly fix everything that's wrong with us. But instead of recognizing this, it's just easier to blame it on them. Like, of course, it's their fault. They can't read my mind. They should know what I'm thinking just by looking at me. Isn't it obvious? But as much as it might happen sometimes, as much as sometimes we realize when something good happened to someone or when something bad happened to someone, well, no one can be a mind reader all the time. The person that we're with has their own problems, and sometimes they can be so focused on them that they don't have space in their lives for something else. They might not even have the energy, and we have to accept that that's okay. Your partner not necessarily has to be your therapist, and especially not when they're not in a good place. This is the point that I wanted to make today. Just talk about how important it is to recognize our needs and how these are different from our desires, so that maybe we can all have, I don't know, better relationships, at least the few people who watch this video. And I'm just making it in the hopes of the people who watch it can get some help, because I am also in this situation. I am also still affected by these unrealistic expectations of love that are shaped by romanticism. Because when it comes to the concept of love, sometimes you grow and sometimes you shrink. I'm not always emotionally strong or strong enough as to say, okay, this is what I believe about love and this is how things are. Sometimes I let myself get carried away with this older vision that I have, and I get emotional and I'm like, why are you doing this to my partner, or why do you treat me this way? But then I have to go back and realize that, wait, maybe you should think this through a little bit more. Because romantic love, it is so perfect, it is so satisfying that it's really hard to say no to it. I mean, who doesn't want it? The shit seems perfect, it seems like it came out from heaven, but it's not real. And I've realized, at least from my experience and from what my friends have told me and from the things I've read and watched, that it is not taking us anywhere. So in short, I hope that this helps all of us this is like a very small attempt to help all of us to build a healthier concept of love, not a healthier and maybe a healthier concept for love, and a concept of love that is true for yourself and that leaves you feeling satisfied and in control. Okay, that's it for this video. I don't know if I'm going to take a third part of this topic yet. Like, there's so many things to cover on here, and I'm just speaking about it in a very general things. Like, we can talk about monogamous relationships, or about how marriage works, or about which aspect of our needs is more important in relationships, about relationships and friendships. Like, there's so much things to talk about, and I'm definitely not covering them all right now, but at least for now, I'm going to leave this in 2 parts, and depending on how it goes, or if I have anything else to say on the topic, I will be taking out a 3rd part. And yeah. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye!